Ladies and gentlemen, tennis fans and sports enthusiasts tuning in from every single corner of the globe, welcome back to the channel. I need you to drop whatever you are doing, sit down, and give me your undivided attention, because today we are unpacking a story that is not just breaking news. It is a seismic, history-making event that has fundamentally altered the landscape of this year's tennis calendar. We are talking about a moment that will be etched into the permanent archives of sporting greatness, a moment that has left veteran pundits completely speechless, seasoned analysts scrambling for their statistics, and an entire nation of over 100 million people celebrating in unprecedented, joyous unison. I need you to truly understand the absolute magnitude of what has just transpired on the hallowed, meticulously manicured grounds of the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club. Wimbledon, the oldest, most prestigious, and undeniably the most revered tennis tournament on the face of the earth, has just been shaken to its absolute core. And standing directly at the epicenter of this monumental shockwave is none other than the 21-year-old Filipina sensation, Alex Eala, affectionately known to her legions of global fans simply as Alex Eala. The title of today's broadcast is not an exaggeration. It is not hyperbole designed to just get your attention. It is the undeniable reality of the sporting world right now. The whole of Wimbledon is genuinely, unequivocally shocked. Alex Eala has suddenly, dramatically, and spectacularly become the undisputed center of attention at the most popular Grand Slam in the world. But how exactly did this happen? How did a player who, just a few short weeks ago, was grappling with the bitter, frustrating taste of an early first-round exit on the red clay of Roland Garros, managed to orchestrate one of the most breathtaking, logic-defying turnarounds in modern tennis history upon arriving in London? This is exactly what we're going to dissect today. We are going to break down every single facet of this extraordinary narrative. We will look at the history, the context, the psychological fortitude, and the tactical mastery that culminated in this jaw-dropping moment. Because to truly appreciate the immense gravity of what Alex Eala has just accomplished on that pristine British grass, we must first immerse ourselves in the atmosphere of the event itself and the sheer unlikelihood of this unfolding narrative. Imagine the scene with me for a moment. It is London in July. The air is crisp. The traditional strawberries and cream are being served by the tens of thousands. The royal box is packed with dignitaries, A-list celebrities, and sporting royalty, and the strictly enforced all-white dress code paints a picture of absolute, timeless elegance. This is a place deeply steeped in tradition, a venue where history is not just remembered. It is worshipped and strictly adhered to. Wimbledon is the ultimate crucible. It is where legends are forged in the fire of competition, and where the greatest players of all time have fought tooth and nail to etch their names onto prestigious honors boards. It is an environment that can easily overwhelm the inexperienced, a pressure cooker that demands nothing short of absolute perfection. And yet, stepping onto those iconic lawns, Alex Eala did not just survive the crushing weight of expectation. She absorbed it, she harnessed it, and she reflected it back with a blinding, undeniable brilliance that absolutely nobody in the global sports media saw coming. The sheer audacity of her performance, the fearless, aggressive brand of tennis she unleashed against all odds, is the exact reason every single sports network, every major publication, and every social media platform is currently dominated by her name. We absolutely have to talk about the shock factor, because the tennis establishment was completely caught off guard. When the main draws for Wimbledon were first announced, the narrative surrounding Eala was cautiously optimistic at best. Coming off a highly challenging European clay court swing, which culminated in a very tough, emotionally draining loss to her close friend Iva Jovic at the French Open, many tennis analysts and commentators viewed the grass court season as merely a developmental phase for the young Filipina. Grass is notoriously unforgiving. It is a surface that demands a highly specialized skill set. It requires exceptional footwork, a remarkably low center of gravity to handle the skidding ball, rapid reaction times, and the mental agility to adapt to unpredictable bounces in a fraction of a second. It is a surface that often takes years, sometimes a decade, for even the most seasoned professionals to truly master. Eala, still navigating the early chapters of her professional career on the WTA Tour, was expected by the pundits to simply use Wimbledon as a learning experience, a chance to gain some valuable repetitions on the surface, and perhaps pull off a minor upset in the early rounds. But Alex Eala, as she has proven time and time again throughout her incredibly inspiring career, operates on her own unique timeline. She does not conform to conservative expectations of analysts. She shatters them into a million pieces. The exact moment the match point was decided, the atmosphere within the stadium experienced a tectonic shift. It went from polite, reserved British applause to absolute, unadulterated bedlam. The roar of the crowd was deafening. The collective gasp of disbelief emanating from the broadcast commentary booths was audible on the live feed. There was a frantic, chaotic scrambling of journalists rushing from their seats to the press conference rooms, desperately trying to rewrite their headlines on the fly. It was a scene of pure sporting magic. The news rippled out from the court, spreading to the sprawling grounds of Wimbledon like an unstoppable wildfire. Fans lounging on Hemmen Hill, checking their mobile phones, could scarcely believe the live scorelines they were reading. The immediate question on everyone's lips was a mixture of awe and bewilderment. How could this be? How could the young rising star, the absolute pride and joy of the Philippines, orchestrate such a monumental, draw-busting upset on the grandest, most visible stage of them all? This was not just a simple tennis victory. It was a loud, undeniable statement of intent. It was a global declaration that Alex Eala has fully, officially arrived. It signaled to the entire locker room that she is no longer just a promising young prospect with high potential, but a bona fide, elite-level threat to absolutely anyone who dares to stand across the net from her. And let us take a moment to deeply reflect on what this specific moment means for the country of Philippines. The entire archipelago is absolutely buzzing with an electric, infectious energy. From the bustling, vibrant streets of Metro Manila to the quiet coastal provinces, from the local municipal tennis clubs to the social media timelines of millions of passionate Filipinos across the global diaspora, there's an overwhelming, palpable sense of pride, joy, and sheer jubilation. Alex Eala has always carried the immense weight of her nation's heavy expectations firmly on her young shoulders, a psychological burden that would easily crush many seasoned athletes. But she carries it with a grace, a poise, and a maturity that vastly belies her 21 years on this earth. She deeply understands that she is not just playing for her own ranking points or prize money. She is playing for a country that is incredibly hungry for international sporting success, a country that sees in her the beautiful realization of their own collective dreams and aspirations. When she succeeds, the Philippines succeeds. And right now, in this very moment, the Philippines is standing on top of the sporting world. The massive cultural impact of this moment extends so far beyond the strict confines of tennis court. It is a unifying cultural phenomenon, bringing people from all walks of life together in a massive celebration of a shared national triumph. As we continue to unpack the incredible layers of this breaking story, we are going to look closely at exactly how the international media is responding to this unprecedented surge of attention. The press center at Wimbledon is currently operating at maximum capacity, with reporters from every major global outlet demanding exclusive interviews. Photographers are crowding the practice courts just to get a glimpse of her warm-up routines. The official Wimbledon social media accounts are experiencing record-breaking engagement numbers, driven almost entirely by the passionate, digitally active Filipino fan base completely taking over the comment sections. It is a digital and physical frenzy that we have rarely seen for a player outside the traditional top 10. The sheer volume of this attention is a testament not only to the unbelievable quality of tennis she just displayed, but also to her highly marketable, incredibly humble, and deeply engaging personality. She is a sponsor's dream, a national hero, and as of today, the absolute undisputed main character of the Wimbledon Championships. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the core of today's presentation. After setting the stage and digesting the sheer magnitude of this breaking news, we are now going to transition into the deep dive analysis. Let us take a magnifying glass to the incredible journey that brought Alex Eala to this very moment, and break down exactly how she executed this masterclass on the grass courts of London. To truly comprehend the depth of this achievement, we have to rewind the clock and look at the foundation upon which this incredible athlete was built. Alexander Meñigo Eala was not just born into a vacuum. She was born into a family with a deep, intrinsic understanding of elite athletic competition. Born in Quezon City in May of 2005, she inherited a legacy of sporting excellence. Her mother, Rosemary, was a highly accomplished national swimmer who secured a bronze medal for the Philippines at the 1985 Southeast Asian Games. That DNA of discipline, of pushing the human body to its absolute limits, of understanding the intense rigors of national representation, was instilled in Alex from the very beginning. Her father, Michael, provided the structural and emotional support necessary to navigate the highly complex, massively expensive, and incredibly daunting world of junior tennis. But talent and family support alone do not forge a Wimbledon conqueror. It requires an environment of absolute, uncompromising excellence. This realization led to one of the most pivotal decisions in Eala's young life, the monumental move across the globe to Mallorca, Spain, to train at the prestigious Rafa Nadal Academy. Imagine being a young teenager, leaving the comfort of your home country, to immerse yourself in an academy bearing the name of one of the greatest, most fiercely competitive athletes to ever walk the earth. The philosophy of Rafael Nadal, the relentless work ethic, the refusal to surrender a single point, the absolute humility in victory and grace in defeat. These became the guiding principles of Alex Eala's development. She absorbed the Spanish clay court mentality, learning to construct points with meticulous patience, utilizing her lethal left-handed forehand to generate massive, punishing topspin. It was within the highly demanding walls of this academy that the rough diamond of her raw talent was cut, polished, and refined into a weapon capable of dismantling the best players in the world. Her junior career was nothing short of historic. We cannot talk about Alex Eala without acknowledging that she was already a trailblazer long before this Wimbledon shocker. She captured the Australian Open Junior Doubles title in 2020. She conquered the French Open Junior Doubles in 2021. But it was the 2022 U.S. Open where she truly cemented her name in the history books, winning the Junior Girls Singles Championship without dropping a single set throughout the entire tournament. By doing so, she became the very first Filipino in history to win a Junior Grand Slam singles title. She had effectively put the entire tennis world on notice. But as any tennis historian will tell you, the transition from junior phenom to professional contender is notoriously brutal. The WTA Tour is a shark tank. It is an environment where former junior champions often disappear into obscurity, overwhelmed by the physicality, the relentless travel schedule, and the sheer financial pressure of the lower-tier ITF circuits. Yet, Eala navigated this treacherous transition with a quiet, determined resilience. She ground her way through the ITF circuit, securing multiple championships, battling in obscure towns far away from the glamour of the Grand Slams. By early 2026, her relentless grind had paid off, pushing her to a career-high ranking of world number 29, officially making her the highest-ranked Filipino player in the entire history of the WTA Tour. But the path of a professional athlete is never a straight, upward trajectory. It is filled with peaks and highly frustrating valleys. And this brings us directly to the crucial context of the weeks immediately preceding this Wimbledon triumph. Just a month ago, the narrative surrounding Eala was one of deep frustration and necessary reflection. At the 2026 French Open, a tournament where her heavy topspin game was theoretically supposed to thrive, she suffered a highly disappointing first-round exit at the hands of her close personal friend and teenage American rival, Iva Jovic. It was a tough, emotional match, ending 4-6, 2-6. The visual of Eala packing her bags early in Paris was a stark reminder of the unforgiving nature of professional tennis. Compounding this disappointment, Eala and her Canadian partner Victoria Mboko were forced to abruptly withdraw from the French Open doubles tournament. Her clay court season had ended on a deeply sour note. It was a moment that could have easily derailed a less mentally fortified player. Many players would have taken an extended break, perhaps wallowed in the disappointment, or let the nagging doubts creep into their psyche. But this is exactly where the Rafa Nadal Academy mentality kicked in. Instead of breaking down, Eala and her coaching team immediately pivoted. They shifted their entire focus to the incredibly short, highly demanding grass court season. She accepted a wild card into the Bad Homburg Open, a crucial warm-up event in Germany, sharing the draw with absolute legends like Venus Williams. This was a clear, strategic move. It was a statement that she was not going to let the Paris disappointment define her summer. She went to work on adapting her mechanics. On grass, You cannot rely on kicking the ball high out of the opponent's strike zone. You have to bend your knees lower than ever before. You have to shorten your backswing. And you have to be willing to flatten out your ground strokes to punch through the slick surface. And all of this meticulous preparation, the psychological rebounding, culminated in the spectacular, jaw-dropping performance we just witnessed at Wimbledon. Let us analyze the tactical masterclass she just delivered on center court. Facing an opponent who was heavily favored by every oddsmaker in Vegas, an opponent possessing terrifying baseline power and a wealth of experience on grass, Eala stepped up the baseline looking completely unbothered by the immense occasion. From the very first serve, it was incredibly apparent that she had formulated a brilliant, highly specific game plan. Rather than trying to match her opponent's raw power, Eala utilized her supreme tennis IQ. She used her vicious left-handed slice serve out wide on the ad court, dragging her opponent completely off the playing surface, opening up the entire court for a crisp, devastating forehand down the line. Eala's footwork on the notoriously slippery grass was an absolute revelation. While other players were losing their footing and struggling to change direction, she moved with the light, explosive grace of a veteran. She neutralized her opponent's massive first serves by taking the ball incredibly early, blocking the returns deep down the middle of the court, completely taking away the angles and forcing her opponent into awkward, cramped rallies. But what truly shocked the tennis world was Eala's newfound willingness to transition forward. Knowing that baseline grinding is highly dangerous on grass, Eala actively looked for short balls, utilizing a highly effective slice approach shot that stayed mere inches above the turf, and finishing points at the net with incredibly soft, confident volleys. It was a brand of first-strike tennis that we have rarely seen from her. It was a tactical evolution happening right before our very eyes on the biggest stage imaginable. The mental fortitude she displayed in the crucial pressure moments was perhaps the most deeply impressive aspect of the entire match. When she faced break points in the tense final sets, the crowd holding its collective breath, the heavy silence of Wimbledon pressing down on her, she did not flinch. She did not tighten up. She went to her trusted patterns, dictating play with her forehand, letting out fierce, passionate shouts of "Vamos" that echoed around the historic stadium, heavily channeling the spirit of her mentor in Mallorca. She broke down her opponent systematically, surgically dismantling a game plan that was supposed to easily overpower her. When the final ball sailed long and Eala dropped her racket in sheer disbelief, covering her face as the tears of joy began to flow, it was a perfect culmination of years of invisible, agonizing hard work finally manifesting into a moment of undeniable global glory. This was not a lucky win. This was a meticulously calculated, brilliantly executed overthrowing of the tennis hierarchy. Having meticulously analyzed the match and the incredibly complex journey that led to it, we now arrive at the final segment of our broadcast. As we transition into the outro of today's video, it is absolutely vital that we zoom out and deeply reflect on the broader, long-term implications of this monumental victory. What Alex Eala has achieved today is going to send incredibly powerful ripples far beyond the borders of the United Kingdom and the immediate news cycle. Let's talk about what this means for the future of sports in the Philippines and the broader Southeast Asian region. For decades, tennis in the Philippines has been viewed as a niche sport, often lacking the massive infrastructure and financial backing seen in basketball or boxing. But Alex Eala is single-handedly forcing a massive paradigm shift. Just recently, it was announced by the Philippine Sports Commission and Robinson's Land Corporation that there are highly ambitious plans to construct an international standard tennis facility at the South Road properties in Cebu City, a facility specifically designed to meet WTA 125 standards. Why is this happening? Because the Alex Eala effect is real. She is proving to major investors, to government, and to the private sector that Filipina athletes can absolutely dominate on the world stage if given the proper support. She is paving the way for a future where major WTA events could routinely be hosted on Philippine soil, allowing incredibly passionate local fans to finally watch world-class tennis in their own backyard. Furthermore, we have to acknowledge the immense cultural capital Eala is rapidly accumulating. Just recently, she was officially recognized by Forbes Asia as one of their prestigious 30 under 30-foot icons in the entertainment and sports category. This distinction is not handed out lightly. It is a massive acknowledgement that she is doing much more than just hitting a yellow fuzzy ball over a net. She is actively elevating the global perception of the Philippines. She is a highly articulate, deeply intelligent young woman who represents her country with absolute immaculate class. During her post-match press conferences, she doesn't just give generic, robotic answers. She speaks thoughtfully about the importance of friendship on the tour. She openly discusses the mental health challenges of constant travel, and she consistently expresses an incredibly deep, genuine gratitude for the unwavering support of the Filipino people. She is the ultimate role model for a new generation of young girls in Southeast Asia who are now looking at their television screens, watching a young woman who looks like them, speaks like them, absolutely conquering the most traditional, aristocratic sporting event in the world. The psychological resilience we have witnessed over the last month is perhaps the greatest lesson any aspiring athlete can take from this incredible story. The ability to endure a highly publicized, deeply frustrating failure at the French Open, to completely absorb that negativity, process it, and rapidly transform it into fuel necessary to create a historic shockwave at Wimbledon, is a defining characteristic of a true champion. Tennis is a brutally lonely sport. When you are out there on the court, there is nowhere to hide. There are no timeouts to call, no teammates to pass the ball to when you are struggling. It is just you, your racket, and the demons in your own mind. Alex Eala proved today that her mind is an absolute fortress. She proved that the heartbreaking losses did not break her. They sharpened her. So what exactly comes next? As the dust begins to settle on this massive upset, Eala suddenly finds herself navigating entirely uncharted territory. The element of surprise is completely gone. She is no longer the dangerous underdog flying under the radar. She is a giant killer, the main attraction, the player that everyone else in the draw is now intensely studying. Her upcoming matches are going to be scrutinized with a level of intensity she has never experienced before. The British tabloids will track her every move. The expectations from her home country will reach an absolute fever pitch, and her future opponents will bring their absolute best tennis, knowing that defeating the girl who shocked Wimbledon is now a major prize in itself. But if there is anything we have learned from this exhaustive deep dive, it is that betting against Alex Eala is a fool's errand. She has the technical weaponry, she has the tactical intelligence, and most importantly, she has the unbreakable spirit required to navigate this massive wave of newfound pressure. I want to turn this over to you, the viewers. I want this comment section to absolutely explode with your thoughts. If you are watching this from the Philippines, tell me exactly where you were when the final point was won. Did you stay up into the early hours of the morning in Manila to watch history unfold? What were the reactions in your living room? If you are a tennis purist from another part of the world, tell me how you analyze her game. Do you think her heavy, Nadal-esque topspin can continue to translate effectively into the second week of this grass court major? Who do you realistically want to see her face in the next round? I read every single comment, and the level of insight this community brings is always absolutely incredible. Please take a moment to smash that like button, because it tells the YouTube algorithm that we need to push this amazing story of triumph to the very top of the trending pages. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because as this incredible Wimbledon journey continues, we are going to be right here, breaking down every single match, every single shot, and every single press conference. The beauty of sports lies in its sheer, beautiful unpredictability. It lies in the deeply human stories of resilience, of young athletes daring to challenge the established order, and of moments of pure, unadulterated magic that remind us why we dedicate so much of our lives to watching these games. Alex Eala has given us a massive gift today. She has reminded the world that on any given day, on the iconic grass of Wimbledon, the impossible is merely a highly difficult problem waiting to be solved. Thank you so much for investing your time to dive deep into this incredible story with me. I appreciate your passion, I appreciate your time, and I absolutely cannot wait to see what this incredible young woman does next. Until the next video, stay passionate. Keep watching courts, and I will see you all very soon.